Breaking news. Omoyele Sowore, the convener of the Revolution Now movement, has asked President Bola Tinubu and the security agencies to put hunger, poverty, insecurity, and others on a security watch list in order to maintain peace in Nigeria. Sowore, who was the presidential candidate for the African Action Congress in the 2019 and 2023 general elections, made this statement in response to the threats on the hashtag End Bad Governance in Nigeria protests, which were met with a violent security crackdown. He emphasized the need to prevent these 5 issues from affecting Nigeria. It had been reported that the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Kemi, said the sponsors of the hashtag End Bad Governance protest in the diaspora were on watch list and they would be arrested when entering the country. Kemi also made this known on Tuesday in Abuja during a combined news conference by the heads of security agents and security chiefs convened by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, at the Defense Headquarters in Nigeria. Now, the human rights activist who gave the warning on his X account wrote, "Nigeria's president and all security agencies must put hunger, poverty, insecurity, unemployment, corruption on their watch list. They must not let these 5 subversive elements enter Nigeria in order for peace to reign. Hashtag End Bad Governance in Nigeria, hashtag Revolution Now," says Omoyele Sowore. Guys, this is interesting. I guess this has taken to a new turn. Now, in a fresh twist, Omoyele Sowore, who is the convener of the Revolution Now movement, got back at the federal government for the statement they made. Talking about the massive nationwide protests, everybody was quite pleased with the protest until the Nigerian security agencies started attacking protesters, shooting at protesters, arresting protesters, those that were protesting peacefully. And not to mention, a lot of persons were killed during the protest. Recently, it was said that the Nigerian army compensated a family with the sum of 300,000 naira because they shot dead one of their sons in Kaduna during the Kaduna protest. Yes, I saw the news headline, which noted that the Nigerian army under President Bola Tinubu compensated this family with 300,000 naira because the army claimed responsibility for the fatal shooting in Kaduna State. And according to some persons, they gave this family 300,000 for a life compensation. What can 300,000 naira do to this family? Can 300,000 naira be compared to the life of a human being? Can 300,000 naira be compared to the life of someone? And we've learned that during this protest, the military, employed a brutal crackdown, which was aimed at dispersing protesters who have been gathering for days. And amid all these things, these security agencies have been seen firing tear gas on innocent citizens, on innocent civilians in the country. A lot of things have been happening. The only thing the federal government could do is to come out and say, "Oh, we know the sponsors of this protest," and they would be arrested. And in return to this statement, Sowore replied by saying that the sponsors of this protest is corruption, hunger, insecurity. And if the president can also arrest those persons, then no problem. They should go ahead and arrest corruption, arrest insecurity, arrest hunger, because those are the main sponsors of the protest in Nigeria. So Nigeria has gotten to day 7 of the hashtag End Bad Governance protest, and a lot of protesters are coming out despite curfews imposed on some states, especially the northern states. And the protesters have a non-negotiable demand, which is the scrapping of the 1999 constitution and to replace it with a people's-made constitution, to toss the Senate arm of the Nigerian legislative system, and to keep the House of Representatives and also to make lawmaking a part-time endeavor, to pay the Nigerian workers a minimum wage of nothing less than 250,000 monthly, to invest heavily in education and to give Nigerian students grants and not loans, to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally, and to release all NSAS protesters and political detainees must also be released and should be compensated. The president should restructure Nigeria to accommodate Nigeria's diversity, resource control, regional development, and decentralization. The president should end banditry, terrorism, and violent crimes. The security agencies must make sure they get to the root of this. Massive investment in public works and industrialization will help employ Nigeria's teeming youths, and also diaspora voting with a lot of other demands from the from the End Bad Governance conveners in Nigeria. So guys, we have about 3 days more to go for the End Bad Governance protests in Nigeria, and the presidency, I'm sure, recently gave statement to Nigerians where he begged Nigerians that we should bear with his government. They are trying their possible best to make things work in this country. Well, how can the president go ahead and declare people in diaspora, Nigerians in the diaspora, wanted because of this protest? Are they serious? Are they really serious? Because I am beginning to love Omoyele's Sowore's courage. Yes, Omoyele Sowore has a lot of courage by replying the president, noting that the president and the security agencies should also place other subversive elements like hunger and unemployment, insecurity, corruption on watch lists, because they've decided that they want to place sponsors, their alleged sponsors of this protest. I don't think there's anybody sponsoring this protest. Nobody in diaspora, nobody in Nigeria is sponsoring this protest. But this is the free will of Nigerians to come out and protest. Nobody gave anybody any money to go and protest. Instead, what we are seeing in the south, like in Lagos, some thugs are coming out saying no to the protest. Those are the sponsored protesters, because they were being paid. And we saw a lot of confessions going online, how some people confess that they were being paid the sum of 5,000 naira to come out and say no against the protest. You can imagine. So why is it that the government are not going after those people that are coming around harassing genuine protesters that are saying no and putting an end to bad governance in Nigeria? Instead, the police, the security agencies would stand by as these thugs go around protesting, saying no to the protests of Nigerians, and also harassing people along the line, which is really terrible. The presidency, the FG would not go after those persons, but instead they will go after genuine Nigerians because they are protesting. Well, it's interesting. So guys, I'm dropping here. Kindly share your thoughts on this in the comments section. Thank you.